Now I want to settle this once and for all. This video is for my 5v5 players. Everyone talks about all of the things that go on in the rec and all of the things that go on in the proving grounds. But how does both playstyles really compare to one another? This video, we will be looking at both modes and then rating them 1 to 5 stars based on 4 factors, and then of course giving them an overall rating. So now let's look at the 4 factors that we will be analyzing both the rec 5v5 playstyle and the PG 5v5 playstyle. The first factor that we're going to be looking at is called skill gap and competition. This factor analyzes how the skill gap between the players affects the gameplay and how the competition is for that specific place to play. The second factor is matchmaking and team composition. This factor considers how teams are constructed and how the composition of each team is accounted for. Basically, do both teams have a point guard? Do both teams have a small forward, power forward, center, etc.? The third factor is the game load time and AI players. Now this looks at how long it takes you to get in a game and how often you are playing with AI players. The last factor is communication and player IQ. Do players get on the mic to actually help the gameplay, or are they just toxic? And how well do players know how to play an organized game of 5v5? After those 4 factors, I'm going to give an overall ranking. But without any further ado, let's jump into the rec. Now, the 2K developers have already stated that shooting in the rec is one of the easiest places to shoot in the game. It's very easy for players to get greens, whether contested or not. So if you're looking for a fun, low-risk 5v5, the rec is where you want to be. Now in the rec, the skills can depend on 2 elements. The first is obviously the individual player's skill set, which is not always rep-based, and the player plate colors. Though there are elite players at every level of the game, the most elite competitors are usually in the top 3 plate color tiers. For this, I'm going to give a 3 out of 5 stars. Now let's look at the matchmaking and composition. In Season 2, the matchmaking seemed to get an update. In Season 1, 90% of the time, rookies played with rookies, starters with starters, vets with vets, etc., etc. Now they're mixed. You can have 2 starters, 1 vet, and 2 rookies on the same team, which can make the games much more interesting. And for team composition, I'd say 60 to 75% of the time in the rec, you'll always have a guard and at least a 7-foot big, or both teams will have a 6'11" power forward playing the center position. But there are occasions where you will have an undersized big going against a 7-foot or 7'4". Beware. For matchmaking and team composition, I'm going to give this factor a 4 out of 5 stars. Let's look at load time and AIs. Now the rec usually loads up the games within 3 minutes, depending on the time of day, and they have significantly reduced the usage of AIs in games in Season 1. So for this factor, I'm going to give a 4 out of 5 stars. Lastly, we have communications and basketball IQ. Now, many players get on their mic in the rec with the purpose of winning in mind. Now, we know the most toxic players are the worst in the rec, but many do get on to help call out plays, cuts, screens, or for encouragement. So now, as far as IQ, my experience is with better plate colors come better players. As far as IQ, gameplay, knowledge of the floor, etc., etc. Also, it seems to be that the players with the lower tiers are more likely to take bad shots, play iso ball, miss opportunities, etc., etc. So I'd say the better tier of plate that you're in, the better the players around you will be. For this, I'm giving a 3. And overall for the rec, I'm going to say with the pros and the cons of playing in the rec, as it is one of my favorite places to play, I'm going to give it a solid 3.5 stars. Now jumping over to the proving grounds. This was my favorite place to play in 2K25, but not as much in 26. Though the octagon feel is definitely different, and the developers have also noted that the shooting here is on Hall of Fame. So if you're coming here, you need to bring your A game. Let's look at the skill gap in competition. Now in the Proving Grounds, the skill gap is much larger because there is no shot meter and you have a higher difficulty with the shooting timing. The competition is fierce, and once you get to the purple and red plates, forget about it. If you want real competition and real sweats, come to the PGs. For this, I'm giving a rating of 5 out of 5 stars. Now looking at the matchmaking and team composition, the matchmaking is very similar to the rec. You can play a variety of players now, and on occasions, there will be players with higher or lower tiers in the same game. The team composition follows the same formula as the rec. More times than not, your team will be complete, and you will not be at a disadvantage at any position on the team. For this, I'm going to give a 4 out of 5 stars. Now let's look at the load time and the AIs. Now one of the biggest issues here in the Proving Grounds is the load time. I personally remember waiting over 10 minutes for a game on a random Friday. This is bad. The load time takes extremely long in the Proving Grounds, especially once you get to the higher tiers. And when it comes to the AIs, I've not really seen a lot of them, but it doesn't matter when that wait time is damn near unbearable for many 2K players. For this factor, I'm going to be giving it a 2 out of 5 stars. And lastly, communications and basketball IQ. Ironically, in the Proving Grounds, many of the players do not get on the mic, but there is this flow of the game that you only see in the high-level, high-competition rec games. Most players know where they're supposed to be on the floor and play their role effectively without needing to come on the mic. The IQ here is definitely better than the rec, with far less players selling or making crazy plays. So for this factor, I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. Now overall, Proving Grounds is slightly better than the rec because of the overall experience of the competition. So overall, I'm going to give Proving Grounds 4 out of 5 stars. So that concludes it for this video. If you like a run and gun, up-tempo kind of fun, then head over to the rec. But if you're looking for sweat level competition, keep it in the PGs. Be sure to like, follow, and share this video. And also, let me know what you guys prefer in the comments, the rec or the Proving Ground.